Goodman podcast. Today we have a great individual who's on a mission to conquer the world with the loops. Her name is Somya. It happens to somebody I know for many, many, many years from when I was a little boy. And Somya, welcome and good to have you on the Goodman podcast.
Thanks, Raj. Thank you so much for having me over. Yes, it's been a wow. I don't want to give our age away, but it's been a pretty long time.
Well, I have gray hair, so I don't mind.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to be the young one out here.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's so
well,
good to be
yeah,
here.
yeah. We were in the same class, but Somya was just 10 years younger than me, so that's
That's so
awesome.
true.
Lovely to have you on. So tell us who's Somya?
Who is Somya? Oh my God, Somya is an entrepreneur. She started a company in 2020. Before that, she was doing another startup. She came from big companies and she is wanting to take this company to $1 billion in revenue. Somya is a mother of a 9-year-old daughter. Uh, Somya is having fun at what she's doing. That's actually a very interesting question. I've never answered it that way. So yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, as long as you're having fun. The other day I met this guy. His name is Joe Foster. He's the founder of Reebok. Took the company from zero to 35 billion in revenue. And he said, he's 85 years old. He said to me, like, do what you want to do. The company doesn't matter. Make sure you have fun. So
Yeah.
glad you're having fun.
I think that's important. Yeah, it is important. I think you've got to be. I read this book from Zero to IPO from Frederick, who was the COO of Okta. And he's like, being an entrepreneur is chewing glass every day. You got to be in love with your blood. So, this journey it has its ups and downs, but if you're not enjoying when it's a down, you're not going to enjoy when it's up. So you got to be in love with what you're doing to be here, I would say.
That's a great quotation. I'm going to nick that one. Like chewing glass, you need to have some blood, and you must enjoy drinking your own blood. That's great. We're all vampires, aren't we, at Startup World, as it happens. Great. So tell us a little bit about the loops. What is that you guys do at the loops, and how did you come about the idea in the first place?
Yeah, the Loops is an AI-driven CX operations platform. And what it pretty much does, as the name says, it brings everybody in the loop, people, process, and data. So prior to starting the Loops, I was at another startup where we were doing a lot of chatbots. We didn't know the world was going to get hit by 30th November 2022 when everything's going to change with ChatGPT. But pretty much, in those days, in 2017, we were just realizing chatbots are good, but they pretty much will only solve 10% of your problems, right? In terms of deflection, even for support, marketing, sales, you kind of name it, wherever you want to deploy it. They're not smart enough. But every query that comes after that requires a lot of contextualization of data, process changement, and behavior changes. People have to be in the loop for all of that. So for that, you need an operational platform. And we wanted to become the post-sales operation platform for anybody working with the customers, success, support, product teams, kind of getting out insights. And those insights are actionable. So that's what the Loops is in a nutshell. November 30th, 2022 has just expedited the need of a platform like the Loops, because now you just don't have the interactions that humans are having with your customers. You have these bots that are having interactions with these customers, and they have their own mind. It's not something that you program consistently in a decision tree. So how do you make sense of it? How do you make sure your customer experience still continues to increase? How do you provide the ultimate experience to your customer in product at the time they need it, is what Loops enables in the back end.
Gotcha. And obviously, I can see the whole value of the loops for companies, individuals, officers in the company. We talked about the big revolution, the AI revolution happening in our lives, 30th November 2022. A big thing hit us all. ChatGPT 3.5 and beyond came in our lives. Tell us about how do you integrate AI into the loops? Are you using OpenAI? Are you using something different, or is it agnostic of what you use for the AI?
Yeah, I mean, AI is not new, right? I mean, we have been using some form of machine learning for the last, I don't know, 40 years. I mean, if you hear whenever programming started, I think compute made it faster. And then, the data availability in the cloud made it much more easier to train, right? So AI is just not ChatGPT open AI. There's multitude. So our platform offers 37 model layers that you can refine and define. What is becoming important in today's time is not just taking ChatGPT and putting data through it because you're going to get garbage in, garbage out, is to see what kind of insights that you can do to get the output in the right format and tune things as you're going along. So it's a combination of machine learning and AI coupled with the right set of data is what's driving the use of these technologies in the market within the workflows of your day-to-day consumption. So for that, you need multitude of coding. People can go use that. So we have a combination of using OpenAI as well as local language models as well. The companies can pick and choose what they want. There's also an ML layer that brings a lot more of topic modeling, scoring, prediction elements in there too. And then there's a no code, low code layer that kind of, wraps around these insights that actually gets delivered where you need it within the journey cycle of you consuming it. So for instance, we're also coining a term saying depth to dashboards. I think we all are going to be conversing with our technology moving forward. We're not going to be coming to browsers and looking at things. Maybe we would in the short term. But eventually, if you're looking at the new generation standing in the Starbucks line, they're just interacting with technology. I think soon enough they'll start talking to it. So you want to be that layer that's providing those insights in the interfaces that everybody is in, and we're pretty much doing that from that. So it's actually making AI, ML coupled with transactional data much more accessible is what the platforms are going to become.
Understood. And obviously, we talk about AI, talk machine learning. Obviously, this has been around for many years, but now people understand it. When I embarked on a PhD 20 years back on AI, which I never finished, people were like, "What's AI? Study of UFOs?" I'm like, "No, it's not. It's study of computers, as it happens, and human brains, which obviously is was based on." But I'm interested to understand who's a customer, target market. Is it mainly startups? Is it large companies, enterprise? Who do you target primarily at the Loops?
Yeah, so from a product, let's kind of get from a vertical standpoint. We're starting in support. So CX from an interaction standpoint, this technology can be applied everywhere. It can be applied in development. It can be applied in sales, marketing, you name it, right? It's kind of redefining the market in terms of it's redefining roles too, all of a sudden, right? So we chose to deploy it within the support arena or the customer care arena. And with that, the need is everyone. It's not just small, mid-sized companies, it's large enterprises. We have customers like PayPal, Elation, Bloomreach, DFIN, big clients that are using us, and also small clients like, Upstart. Well, Upstart is not small, Prodigy. And all those are also consuming. The need is that you need this technology no matter your size, no matter your department, because if you don't get it, you will not know the gaps, you will not know the process, the data, the people that you would need to scale an engine. And now the mantra with the macroeconomics is doing more with less kind of areas. So there is no particular size of a market, but we kind of tend to say that if you are above 20 agents within your organization, then you need a product like the Loops, because with the increase of the volume, you're not going to double the size of your agents in those environments. So to keep your existing folks productive, you need a technology like that.
And are you seeing that the AI elements are really helping the support teams, people in customer success teams, for example? Are you seeing that's actually really helping them? Or do you believe that what we're seeing right now with the AI is just the beginning of a revolution, and there's much more to come.
I think it's the beginning of a revolution of what more needs to come. But today, just with what it is, I fundamentally think you're going to change your organizations, your departments, your experiences, the way you set up things. The silos are going to break up with the technology like this. But today itself, with our customers, we're seeing a lot in this space itself. So let's kind of say where AI gets applied, right? It's a very broad stroke of word AI within the post sales, right? Within post sales, there is an end user component, which is the customer interactions. Then there is an assisted co-pilot where you're assisting your support agents, success people, anybody that's interacting with customers or customer issues on an ongoing basis. And then there is a managerial efficiency layer as well of AI, which is giving efficiency in terms of, I don't need a manager per 10 employees kind of thing, right? Can I have a manager with 20 employees? And then you need managers for bots as well that you're deploying. So these are the three areas where pretty much AI gets applied into from a post-sales interaction standpoint. Within the first layer, we're not on this chatbot, we're much more on the back end employee and the managerial assistant layer standpoint. But at each layer, like our customer Bloomreach saw 37% increase in efficiency and productivity across their organization using the loops in combining support and success, getting the same insights to understand where the churn is going to happen. Sauce Labs saw close to 480K in cost savings that they were account to, which kind of equates to 8 hours per week per agent. Coho, another fintech company, an upcoming fintech company, saw close to roughly around 600K in cost savings. They went from 2% QAing to 100% QAing of their employees and their management. And I love when Monica talks, like she's like, now I'm ready to start doing upsell and cross sell and support as well. So I'm going to get rid of my frontline and I'm going to do upsell and cross sell. So the level and the mindset shift that departments had historically is going to break with the technology like this. But it all starts on refining and aligning and connecting the dots that we created silos in the past for, and creating the right set of data. Because, like I said before, garbage in, garbage out. If your data is garbage, there's no technology in the world that can give you the right set of data. So a lot of that is required. Now, that doesn't mean data needs to be perfect, that you're going today and looking at every knowledge article and rewriting it and redefining it. No, it means like getting a technology like this to understand the gaps within your organization and then figure out, now I understand the gaps. Now let me concentrate on where I can optimize them to get the utmost return out there. Historically, we just worked because, it was work. We had to send dashboards and reports to management. Now, are they making sense to do that? Is there value in that? Can I automate those things? Can I use generative AI to generate all this content? But then what kind of content are you ingesting from different systems to make that happen is the work that has to happen in the background.
That's really interesting. You talk about obviously all these different companies seeing gains, cost savings, making money, cross sell, sales because of obviously the loops. Recently, we came across this case study of Klarna in the e-commerce space, saving $40 million and 700 employees. Do you believe that the future of customer support and CX is very, very sort of different from what we are used to? You see that there'll be many more bots taking care of our customers than real human beings. And if so, is that where the savings are really for our teams and our companies?
So it is a very conflicting topic, right? I mean, I can say, if I support leaders are going to cringe if I say, but I'll tell you, support leaders are not scared of the technology. I just came from an event yesterday at Intercom, and there was a support leader over there, Guneet from Appfolio, and he's like, I'm adopting this technology. not because I want to replace my agents, but I want to empower them and increase my productivity because my loads are still going up. I'm just not going to double down. So I don't think people need to be fearful of their jobs, that tomorrow their jobs are going. But it is true, your jobs are going to evolve in this technology. I can give you a parallel example. We were at another VC event where, the VC came on stage and said, a big PE firm that said, we've got 800, portfolio companies ranging all the way from 10 million in revenue to 500 million to a billion in revenue. And these companies, he's like, the BDR role is going to disappear. We're not going to have BDRs anymore. The salespeople are going to be full cycle sales, right? They're going to run full cycle sales, but they'll have these tools available to do the BDR job that's there. So I think we'll be lying if we tell something, no, 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 right? The world is not going to change. I mean, the disruption happened, right? When you move from on-premise to cloud in DevOps, all of a sudden people managing data centers for various companies, those jobs moved on to learning this new skill set in DevOps world. But you had 40 people running your data centers, you probably just needed 2 DevOps people eventually to run your operations on that. So I think the transition is going to happen. What this is going to bring is an opportunity of new skill sets that people need to take on, for instance, in support, rather than having your frontline agents manage those manual, iterative knowledge serving tasks. You're going to have bots do that stuff, right? And then you're going to have those agents become, people that are going to monitor these bots. So you're going to have bot for refund, bot for fraud detection, just kind of saying maybe a PayPal example. Each bot will have its own thing. You don't want to expose it to the end user because you want to do some checks and balances where a human will come and do a check, like in a machine line, in a manufacturing, they just come and do a check, but everything is automated, sort of a thing. So yeah, you're going to see that. But then it's also creating opportunities for people to upskill and up level, how to do prompt engineering, how to mine the bots, what areas, what should I be putting in? So my output is what I'm looking for, right? It's learning a language that is pretty much, our natural language of talking with machines. So it is a mindset shift that needs to happen, and people need to evolve on it. It's definitely going to be a disruptive. I'll be lying and saying no, you're going to keep the same thing. No, it's going to change.
And obviously, this is what evolution is all about. Evolution is about changing the whole paradigm and shifting it to what fits the requirement of that era. Obviously, as people went from farming to cities to work in the factories in the industrial revolution, that doesn't mean that you were unemployed. There are probably more jobs now than there were when there was just farming available, right? So I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, no, it's going to bring, that's what we need to prepare people, because this technology, like the cloud era, took time, right? It took its own course of a decade to get where it was. I remember this famous Churchill conversation with Hasso from SAP and Mark Benioff from Salesforce, where Hasso in 2009 said, oh, no, no, you can't put finance data on cloud. And Mark Benioff said, sir, I respect your seniority, but watch me do it, right? Kind of a thing. So it's going to happen. It's happening. But the thing is, this technology is getting adopted way faster than the previous one. So there are going to be people who are scared of it. But if you embrace it, it's the best thing. You'll have more opportunities.
And obviously there's the talk about AI and customer service and this customer experience, and then there is what's happening under the hood. I'm sure there are areas like escalation of issues in customer support, which are now being able to be spotted and then risen up above everything else. I'm sure there are things which are around visibility of challenges, maybe critical errors being put up, for example, quicker. Are you seeing that that's happening a lot? And is that what the customers are asking for from the loops, for instance? Or is it something you're providing to your customers as part of the service? Or is the requirements completely different from what I'm talking about today?
No, I think it is there, right? So what has happened is historically support has very much worked into saying, oh, volume of tickets, right? Or volume of conversations, chatbots, mean time to resolve, FCR, first call to resolution, right? Let's kind of reduce all of that down. That kind of maps to the agents, the cost per agent, the cost per ticket, and blah, blah, blah. Now, what you're having is that was all operational metrics on top, right? Now you're getting, oh no, now you've got AI that is reading the content and telling you within the content, oh, sentiment was bad. Oh, this customer is a high profile customer. Renewal is coming in 2 months and sentiment is bad. Boom, boom, boom. They're going to escalate, right? So there is a lot of combination of data with AI, ML that you can kind of bring together to give you signals and insights on what's going on your day-to-day operations for you to act on. And while that's going on, it can assist your agents also. Typically, agents in a complex environment or even in simple, what do? They spend time finding knowledge articles, content, or someone that has resolved an issue in the past. So now they have more time to empathize with my customer, right? There are issues like, the other day I was with an app, and I'm not going to give that app's name. It was my quarter closing and I needed to get something done, right? So I put in a request and, they didn't respond through the chat bot. Then I put in a ticket, they didn't respond. And the next day I had to pick up the phone and call them. I'm like, dude, this is a freaking deadline. I need this done for this employee, right? And they're like, oh, what is your problem? Can I help you? I just wanted to kill the agent. I'm like, dude, I just sent you 2, 3 emails with my issue. You didn't see it, like, and you're asking me how you can help me. Like, you should know, right? Why I'm calling. I'm so frustrated, right? So it is these things that you don't understand that are going to get, But now, if he had picked up the call and he said, "Oh, you know what? I do." It was a he. So I do understand you put in 2 requests, and oh, I see. Oh my God, this got lost in our queue. I'm so sorry. Let me help you with it, right? The conversation just changes. Like, you know who I am. You know my pain. We're always going to have a pain. Software is always going to be buggy, right? But now you know me, right? So that experience personalization becomes a lot more different for companies to say, oh, yeah, right? And imagine that doing at volume for companies like Reebok or Nike that you're having conversations with, and B2B space that becomes more ground for me to be loyal to this brand, right? So all of that requires nuggets of information that you can guide your agents. Look, if a customer comes in, here's the historical interaction. By the way, there's another agent that resolved it in this format, and this is what you should be responding back to, right? They have those things so they can concentrate on talking with the customer or interacting than saying, oh, wait, while I'm doing that, because there's a ticker on my head, I need to resolve this issue. Let me go find it. So you are guiding them. And while that's going on, you're also understanding there's an escalation going on in those interactions. So a management layer can look and act on it. And then they have monitoring on top of that saying, oh, this agent resolved it this way. These other ones did it this way, and the experience was really good. Maybe we should follow and do procedure mapping and monitoring and explaining and upskilling and automations and things like that, right? So the combination is going to transform your organization. Now, whatever I said in all this historically required you to have data scientists, data analysts, developers, people with high skills to make all of that happen. So the cost was outweighing the benefits. But now, with fraction of cost, the benefits a lot more to do something like this and to bring something like this in the environment. So there is a lot from an operation standpoint that needs to be automated in the back end so that you can serve your customers well, because you need to know where in the journey they came and they interacted with you. And are they ready to blow up, right? Because it changes the dialogue. You can ease everybody's pain with the right understanding of the sentiment, now we call it, which is not good, bad, ugly. It can be a lot more. I think you can ease the pain much more better.
Understood. And in this example you just gave about talking to this sales agent or customer support agent where they didn't know the challenge, I've been seeing a lot of demos recently of companies who are creating voice-based solutions. Grok, G-R-O-Q, famously, which is like does LPUs. Really interesting demos I've been seeing there. Do you see that, or do you foresee that there's going to be a lot of voice-based interactions with AI agents who sound very human-like, but obviously they're not?
There was a case, right, in China where someone transferred money from a CFO's account by mimicking his voice. So, yes, I think the technology is a lot more human-like. It is a lot more decisive, and if it solves my problem, yes. But I think we as humans want to interact with humans. We want to see a human on the right side. There was actually a very good one that Reed from LinkedIn also did, where he had his bot talk to him as him, and they both were believable, like both of them in a side by side video. One Reed had just gone through the web and read all his books and were giving him quotes from his book, and the other Reed was just asking his bot his questions. So the technology is there. I think there needs to be governance and compliance around it, and how that gets used so it's not maliciously, especially when you're doing transactions and financial transactions and it's not maliciously used in there, is going to it's going to evolve. But can you get away from it? No, I think it is here. Voice conversations, interacting with bots is going to become a norm. I don't know. Remember the Iron Man movie where he talks to Jarvis,
Mm.
right? I think that future is here. We're going to be talking to our technology like this. We're going to have Jarvises for our kids walking around,
I
guiding them,
mean,
you know.
that's the only way, right? I mean, just look on that Reid Hoffman video, I saw that as well. Yeah, great knowledge. The voice, I mean, the way it was not very natural, but it was really good stuff. It still sounded like him, but yeah, just the pause was not very natural. But oh boy, what a phenomenal opportunity for us human beings. And talking about Jarvis's, absolutely. I mean, I'm prompting ChatGPT and Claude 3.5 like 100 times per day, so it's like my mini Jarvis on the computer. Get a moving robot, then why not, right? So let's sort of look at that. Any comment on that, Somya?
I was, my mind just grows, and I think it'll be very controversial. Like, I would want a Jarvis for my daughter, like, that follows her around and monitors her and the way she needs to behave and is giving me a report every time. So, uh, you know, um, I just have, one child. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should, get a robot to follow her around to track her, what she's doing, and give me
I have
reports.
a daughter as well, and the pictures is behind me. And I can tell you one thing: when she's three, going four, and when she is a teenager, I wouldn't mind having a constant bot telling me what's she up to. So yeah, I'm not totally against the idea, but yeah, maybe we shouldn't put it online because then our kids will find us and hunt us down. So yeah, we shouldn't
Oh,
probably do that.
totally. They'll find invasion of privacy and all that stuff. But that's why I said, there's governance and compliance and all of that needs to be in place. At what point do you draw a line where you're invading my privacy? But to that point, right? I mean, we're changed. I don't remember going to a bank in the last 10 years. Even when I now log into website, there's a chat that comes. I don't even talk to an agent. I don't even remember calling an agent up for any of my bank related queries. I just chat there and I get my things resolved. So to your point with the voice bots and everything, as long as it's solving my problem and it's believable and it doesn't keep saying, I don't have to keep pressing escape or zero, I think, people will not have issues interacting with something like this. But they have to say, you're interacting with a bot. I can help you in these 5 ways. Is there things? So those things, being upfront is very important. So you're not impersonating anybody.
Talking about the bots, and let's sort of end on this topic about what they're calling it now as AI agents. You talked about this in your chat with me earlier as well. I feel this is a really interesting field. There were many attempts in the past with Baby GPT and Auto GPT working on it, and there are obviously multiple applications coming up. When do you see these agents becoming a mainstay of our lives. Is it happening already, in your opinion? Is it going to happen in Q3, Q4, next year in the first quarter? What's your visibility from your perspective, Samir?
I think it's already happening, right? I mean, for instance, in my organization, we are running with enterprise customers at large scale and everything. I don't have an admin managing my calendar day to day, right? I do it myself. There is automations and AI agents that I've set up in the background where I get into meetings, they record my meeting, they summarize my meeting, they connect with my CRM, they provide me tasks on my lists that I need to monitor on a day-to-day basis, and I'm able to keep up with everything. So I think the AI agents in some format are already here with us. They're going to evolve into where we'll start asking them and they'll give us answers back in the way that we want to consume it. Right now, it's a little bit robotic in nature. But we are automating and driving efficiency. It has arrived. I mean, there are companies that are talking about reaching up. There's actually a joke that was there with Sam Altman. He posted on LinkedIn where he said there is a joke going on. There's actually a bet going on in his billionaires club, which company is going to be the first company which is going to reach $1 billion with 10 people. Right. And he's like, we're taking it to the next level. And his billionaire club joking and having a bet which company is going to be a one-person company reaching $1 billion. Right. So that's not going to happen without AI agents in your environment. That's not going to happen about automation at every level that you're doing with this conversing. So I think it's already happening. People are thinking like that. Every company is thinking about, I need to hit this kind of, run rate with this kind of burn, but I can't add more onto my OPEX cost. And how can I achieve that tenfold with technology, with AI? There are actually companies that are not adding headcount, but they're adding AI. But then, you add AI, you need people that need to deploy it. You need people that need to understand it, to monitor it, to keep it in check, right? So it's not like you're not going to add talent on that side, but you're not going to add your genetic talent with your genetic roles that you had defined in the past. So I think all of that is already happening. It's happening with the speed of light. That at least we're seeing it up here in Silicon Valley in terms of adoption and people and what they're doing. In the past, it used to be, what is the size of your company? So based on the revenue, you would be, if you're making 10 million, you would be a 200 employee company. Now you're incentivized to say, oh, you're a 10 million in revenue. Are you a 20 employee company? What is your burn? Right? So the dialogues have changed. The discussions in the startup community have changed. It's no longer about the head count. It's about your burn with the revenue and how you can achieve that. And that's driving change all across the industry.
Finally, the fundamentals have been dug into everybody, which is a great way to end today's conversation. Thank you very much, Somya, for coming today. Where can you find more about yourself and the loops?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, Somya Kapoor, or you can send me an email, somya@theloops.ai, if you have any questions on this. And about the loops, you can find us at theloops.io. Very easy. It's the loops, bring everybody in the loop, people, process, and data. That's what we all stand for. So I'm looking forward to hearing from everyone.
You heard from Somya, who's in the loop. Thank you, Somya, for coming today. Really good to see you again. And thanks for being part of the Goodman Project.
Same here. Really enjoyed it, Raj. Thank you so much.
Thank you.